What is going on, Chiefs Kingdom? Welcome back to the 4th annual edition of Mock Draft Warfare, presented by The Kingdom Says. I am your usual host, Garrett Williams, and I am joined by a full cast of characters tonight. We've got, at the very top of the screen, we've got Arrowhead Tom. How are you doing tonight, Tom?
I never get introduced first. This is the best. Not only am I getting introduced first, but I'm going to win this thing. This is best day ever.
Yeah. So one of those things is true. We're going to see which one ends up being true. Below me on the screen, we've got Mr. Kyle Henning. How are we doing tonight, Kyle?
It's draft season. It's NHL playoffs. It's Chiefs paid Brett Veach and Andy Reid a gigantic sum of money. It's a good time right now. I'm having fun. I have absolutely no team rooting interest in the NHL playoffs this year because we missed, so I get to just watch the playoffs. Clark's out here just paying willy-nilly big old checks, just writing people checks, and we get to make up a bunch of stuff about a draft that's about to happen in 4 days. So it's a good time.
Good time. It is good times. And then also join us at the bottom of the screen, Mr. Randy Ellenberger. How are we doing tonight, Randy?
I'm doing awesome. It's I'm happy to be back. Good to be back with you all, from vacation after watching you guys go rogue.
Hey. All this, you had to go tour the world.
No, you were part of it. You were there. You were in it. You're guilty by association.
Oh, I was there, but I don't know about in it.
Nobody had the power to stand up to me. I was
right. No, it doesn't.
I got Devontae Walker in the second round.
No, I'm excited to be indoctrinated here into the mock draft warfare and see.
Yeah, Randy's first.
See how many times I can almost cuss on this and catch myself. So I can't guarantee one won't slip by. I can't make any promises, but I'm gonna do my best.
That's all right. Maybe we'll turn it into a drinking game, or we'll put a counter up or something.
Exactly.
I'll take off a piece of clothing every time you cuss.
Yep.
Jesus.
We'll have fun.
This is a very special episode we've got here. If you guys are new and have not seen our mock draft warfares, like I said, this is the 4th annual edition of it. We've done this 4 years now, which is pretty crazy to think about. So basically, how this is going to work, it's a bit of a thought experiment, if you will. Kind of a fun exercise in mock drafting. Because we've done plenty of normal mock drafts, and that's always fine and dandy. So how this mock draft warfare goes is essentially we're going to do 5 rounds. We're going to go in a snake order. So the order that you see on the screen is the order of the picks. So we go Tom, me, Kyle, and then Randy. So each person will get a pick per round. The catch is that each round, as soon as a position has been picked, that position is eliminated for the rest of the round. So if Tom came out and chose quarterback in the first round, then nobody else in the first round can choose quarterback. And then if I came out and chose running back, nobody else would be able to choose running back, so on and so forth. And then it would go in a snake order around. So Randy will be 4th in the first round.
Mr. Rattler in the first round with the 4th pick in this.
Exactly. If he wants to do that, he has the power to, because I bet quarterback will still be available. But yeah, so it'll wrap around. There will
be an instance in my life where you will say the Kansas City Chiefs select Spencer Rattler. That will. Other than that phrase that I just said,
you just did it. I think we should clip that and put that out as the.
If you clip that and put that on a loop, Garrett, I swear I will come down.
That'll be the intro for this episode.
We're gonna get in the cut before we even start the draft.
I will find you.
There was already
Garrett.
We're not cussing. We're threatening.
You look like a small guy. I'm not a small guy, Garrett.
Oh, he's not small.
No, Garrett's not. No, he's tall. He's like 6'12".
He's the same height I am. I was not prepared for it either when I picked him up from the airport the first time. I was like, "Oh, hi! Holy shit! We actually are."
Okay. A bunch of big stocks around here.
So that's what's going to be going on tonight here, and obviously every round the position will reset, so the position will be back open for the board. So it should be pretty interesting. If you're new and have
rules up when we put the post up, so people can.
There'll be some rules in that final graphic. So if you're new and you haven't seen the first 2 years, actually, I happen to be the only one to correctly predict a Chiefs draft pick. I predicted Creed Humphrey in 2022, and then Oh no, it was 2021, and then 2022 I predicted Sky Moore.
Sky.
So
it's your fault.
Yeah.
Listen, you win some, you lose some. All right, you get Creed, you get Sky.
Hey,
you win some, you lose some.
He's not even in year 3 yet. Everybody, take a breath. We do this too early.
Yeah,
guys. You guys did it with McCole. And
I'll just say
we were
there's
begging
another
for
receiver
McCole last year.
There's
Remember
another
that?
receiver
No
chosen in that draft.
No one was begging for McCole ever.
They traded for him, Randy.
Doesn't mean
Somebody wanted him.
Doesn't mean we were
We're
begging.
going off the rails already. What are we even talking about? Anyways, I was just trying to brag about me being a winner.
Yeah.
I know, but then you tried to say that Sky Moore's done already, and it's not even year 3.
I didn't
yet.
say that. Somebody else said that. I'm not going to name names. I'm not going to name names on who said that, but it might have been Randy who
I'll
said
raise
that.
my hand. I'll claim that.
So yeah, nobody won last year. So the belt is vacated essentially, up for grabs here. So we got 5 rounds. We got 6 picks each, because the Chiefs have 2 fifth-round picks. So this should be a good time. Any other comments before we get started?
The goal is to pick players that the Chiefs are going to pick. So
yeah, that's the whole thing. The way you win is accuracy.
Yeah, this is very predictive in nature. It's supposed to be anyways. So sometimes you have like what would we personally do mocks versus what that's not necessarily what we're doing here. We're trying to figure out that. I mean, that's what we're playing for, for the title of champion, hey, like Garrett said, he predicted that we would get Creed Humphrey. I thought, didn't you get somebody else in that draft as well? Correct? Was it Nick Bolton?
No, I didn't get anybody else. That was the only
2 in one year, but
not
to give you too much credit.
We talked ad nauseum about Bolton during that mock draft warfare and nearly took him. I believe somebody almost took him there, but he was just taken off the board right before or right after.
Yeah, and that is the thing with these mock drafts and how this will go is that we're just going to do one random mock draft on this on NFL mock draft database simulator. So what we get is what we get. If we don't think that certain guys will be there at that spot, or think that certain guys would be there, that's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes, So we got
with us all selecting a player, it makes the board a lot more difficult and a lot more. You have to kind of, as Tom mentioned, guys that the Chiefs might actually look at, even if Garrett's correct picks on the players weren't necessarily the right rounds. But that's not really what we're after. You're looking at, you make sure you want to get players that are stuff the Chiefs might actually look at, even if you're not necessarily right with the round. The round is bonus points, but getting the player right is the key to start the whole kicker. So
exactly.
Yeah. All right. I think we've explained it. We're gonna get this started. Any objections?
No, let's do this thing. Let's.
There won't be trades. There won't be trades because
there will be no trades.
No trades.
Right.
Yep.
4 players trying to do trades. This is way too much, man.
I am gonna add. So the NFL mock draft database simulator is a really good. Like they kind of compile, but they have variations in their cycles. So I'm gonna because we're recording or whatever, and we might cut it out. But if it's a wonky one. Like sometimes it'll be like, oh, Jaden Daniels goes number 1 and JJ McCarthy will restart it. I don't want to.
Yeah, we'll look through the first board here before.
Yeah.
If it's goofy at pick 2, then no.
Yeah, some surprises are okay. Absolute chaos, probably not, especially this close to the draft. So
yeah, realism is the goal here.
Like that, JJ McCarthy going number 1.
Yeah,
we're not going to.
I mean, that doesn't have much. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, we're going to.
No.
We'll try that one more time, just for all intents and purposes,
Hey,
just for the sake of all right. What the?
They did it again.
Back to back. Is it trying to tell us something?
They did it again.
Something we don't know.
Yeah. Hey, this thing knows. This thing, I think it might know.
All right.
3rd time's the charm.
If it does it again.
I mean, we're just gonna send it, I guess.
Drake May that time.
Did it again. Yep. All right. Well, I mean, that'll happen sometimes.
We're gonna see how it falls. All right, we're not taking any trades. I thought this was a solid.
Trades.
Oh no!
Oh wow!
All right, so this is
oh no!
Let's take a couple of looks. The guy I was going to take went at pick 31. That was the guy.
A lot of names missing.
This is a brutal draft. It was the guy I was going to take.
Can we see the beginning of this draft, please, for a minute?
I'm trying to scroll over there. It's all right. Let's go all the way to the. All right, so obviously these two. This is going to happen in some order. Probably not this order.
I'd be.
This would be a shock.
Brian Thomas Jr. is the second. Okay,
7th,
3rd. He's the Marvin
Third
Harrison
wide
still hasn't been
receiver,
chosen in the first 7 picks. This
Oh.
is
Where's Marvin?
Oh, holy cow!
I
I
mean,
mean,
I can't say it's the most accurate.
technically gone. At least McCarthy. All right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
mean, I'm down for one more restart if you guys are. Just
Mulligan. Mulligan.
Mulligan,
Mulligan.
one more
Yeah,
Mulligan.
We're calling him
We're
Mulligan.
running back here.
That
Running back.
was wonky. That was the definition of what in the world.
Remember that
All
not
right.
quite absolute chaos comment we just talked about like 2 minutes ago?
All right. Here we go. Let's have just a normal,
this has got to be the
regular
one right here.
mock
I can already
draft.
tell.
Hey.
Okay. Now we're this is
now.
better. This is more.
Yeah, I can already tell this is the one right
Yeah,
here. Brian
that's
Thomas is
better.
not
I don't like
up
it
to the
all
board.
the way
Okay.
'cause I saw some names leave, but that's much more realistically what this probably looks like. Jesus
This
Christ.
is a much better board overall. So let's go real quick.
Caleb Drake.
This wouldn't be.
Yeah.
This would be interesting. Daniels to the Giants.
Daniel
Yeah.
Jones becomes the most expensive backup in human history, quickly surpassing Chase Daniel as the most earningest backup quarterback in the history of the league.
Oh God! If Rome ended up in Vegas, I would cry. Like,
Yeah.
You just get to watch him and Trent stare at each other like they did at practice for like 3 years all the time.
Yeah.
Interesting. So again, Joe Alt not going to last to 14. I know that's been a big buzzword on Twitter.
If he's there at
don't break
14
your
and
own
they
hearts.
don't go get him, I will throw things at the television set.
That would be very surprising.
Don't break your own hearts. But yeah, Adonai Mitchell went early.
Yeah, that's not crazy. Xavier Worthy.
Oh, Garrett, I'm so sorry, buddy.
Oh no.
Garrett.
I guess I'm not
so
getting the
sorry,
first round
bud.
pick. I mean, I guess I'm just not going to be right on my first round pick because
All right.
I guess no one is actually for that.
There was a big run on wide receivers, so I'm real sorry for everything that's going to happen. I gave it away last round. My pick here is Kingsley Suamataia out of BYU. I've been talking about that since last year. I think it's the most likely if you're staying at 32, that's the direction you're going. So that's my pick. You can keep it simple. I think he's a good guy to bring in and develop all the athletic traits you want. Has some way to go, but he's a young kid. He'll be 21 when the season starts. He'll play most of his rookie season as a 21-year-old. So, Garrett,
all right. Well, so let's hop over to the wide receiver board and just see who's still available at wide receiver. If we could take a gander here. Troy Franklin, Ricky Pearsall, Xavier Leggett, Roman Wilson, Jalen Polk. It's pretty brutal. It really sucks to not have Xavier Worthy or even like some other wide receivers here. So maybe not. Maybe we'll see what else is in the all category. Let's just scroll through the all. Let's just scroll through the top guys real quick. There is a nice name at the top over there. Let's see. Let's just double check anything else crazy. Kingsley's gone.
Bo Nix, guys. Bo Penix, if you're
Bo Nix, Michael Penix Jr. Yep. All right. Well, I guess I would really like to go receiver here. Unfortunately, my guy is gone, so who cares about any other receiver in this draft class? Basically, Xavier Worthy's gone, so we might as well just not draft a receiver. Period. So I am going to go for Mr. Johnny Newton, the defensive tackle out of Illinois. I've said on this show, I do think that defensive tackle is actually still the number one need per se on this team, especially long term in the future, pairing up somebody with Chris for the next couple years as a solid guy that you can rotate in there and get good production out of. And Johnny Newton, Jerzon Newton, is really good. He's a big guy who can really move people around, who can really get in there. He can be the perfect complement to Chris for the next 5+ years, and who knows, maybe even follow the path of Chris and be here for long term. But with the board how it's full, I would honestly, I'd even be surprised if Johnny Newton made it to 32, just with how hyped up he's been so far in this draft process. But I will gladly take him and pair him with Chris, and our defensive line will be absolutely nasty for many, many years to come.
Well, this is a good example.
Newton's been my interior defensive line one all season long, just because he's an absolute wrecking ball. The way the pass rush and penetration he can get from playing as an interior defensive lineman is astounding. Yeah. Well over 40 pass pressures, within the last 2 seasons from that interior spot is crazy.
Yeah, he'd be a home run hit, like outside of the main big needs.
Yeah.
If the board fell this way and Newton was the pick, I wouldn't that'd be going best player.
But also, we've heard Brett Veach say that he is more than willing to go best player available if
before after he trades up or for a guy.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
But we did see that big run on wide receivers, and teams knows that the Chiefs want a receiver. So, all right, Kyle, that puts the pressure on you.
No, this sucks because now I'm in a spot where if you go, no, seriously, click on that wide receiver board.
Boop.
Okay. Now tell me what we're supposed to do in rounds 2 and 3 when there's another run on wide receivers, because there's still wide receiver needy teams in this draft simulator. In this simulator. So now if I don't take a wide receiver here and Randy takes a guy way up high, then there's chicken scraps in the second round probably, because there's going to be other teams that take guys here. Now, the nice thing is there's a bunch of guys that I would like in the second round still here, so I feel like I can leave this maybe and still get away with wide receiver being available if he takes it now, which he's going to have to if I do what I do. Hear what I'm thinking? So go back to all, and if you'll scroll slightly down there, you'll see an edge player that went to Mizzou named Darius Robinson, and he screams Steve Spagnuolo. I don't know if you'll necessarily see it in the first round. If the board fell this way, and if it wasn't Johnny Newton, I'd be more than okay if it was Darius Robinson here. I would rather not see Troy Franklin. I made that clear with my post regarding my battery life the other day in the KC Sports Network post. I just don't need to see another Oregon scat back wide receiver in this offense. I remember the DeAnthony Thomas years, and I know I love that, and he's great, but he never did.
That was a dog.
It's not a thing. So give me Darius Robinson, and I will.
You are taking him as an edge, correct?
Yes, I am taking him as an edge. Now, that doesn't mean that they'll exclusively play him at edge. That screams like the Mike Dana type thing, where they'll play him inside, outside, wherever they want when they move.
He's an Omenihu kind of guy.
Yeah.
And
it's perfect for Spags. Spags loves that.
I've been talking about it for 3 years now. Spags wants an amoeba NASCAR front where all of the guys look kind of the same, and he can line them up anywhere he wants and do whatever he wants with them. And if he gets a couple of freaks that are superstars when it pops out of him because he just goes for pure crazy attributes and length and what they can find, yeah, I'm fine with it. And they do it all the time. I was skeptical of Karlaftis. He learned how to bend. I still don't know how that's a thing. It must be because he was young, but he did. They do it. Yep. There's now Bobby says you can teach bend. I believe Bobby. So, with that said, if you're looking at this board, you tell me. You just kind of talked about the best player available. Well, you took one of my best player available options with Johnny Newton. He's gone already. Kingsley gone already. Now, Graham Barton, we talked about last episode. I guess if you forced me to at gunpoint kind of deal, I don't want to. Can you replace Trey at some point or Tooney at some point? Sure. Do you need that in the first round right now with some of the other holes? Absolutely not. So, yeah.
All right. Randy, what do you got for us?
All right. Well, tackle's gone. D tackle's gone. Edge is gone.
Yep.
So,
if you want to see a position, you let me know.
It's all right. I mean, with a guy still sitting there and a guy that we just lost, I mean, it would be silly not to take a Nate Wiggins if he's there at this point. Do I expect him to ever be crazy? Yeah. Do I ever expect him to be there? No, I don't.
If you're trying to guess,
I don't foresee the Chiefs going corner in the first round at all either. But considering, what we got sitting here, I'm going to go with Wiggins. I'm going to take Wiggins. I think a dude that's 6'1", 175 pounds that runs a high 4.2, 4.28, something like that.
Quick.
He's long, he's rangy, he's super talented. So if he happened to be there, awesome. Especially since those other positions are already taken. So
you say long and rangy and fast? Yeah, the Chiefs don't like that at cornerback.
Yeah, they don't like that at all. You know,
All right.
Surprise,
but
surprise,
it allows me to come back on the snake here and screw the second round wide receivers for all y'all.
Yeah, that really did screw at some of us because I mean, I'm surprised he didn't take Xavier Leggett because he might not be available.
I'm going to take Xavier Leggett right now.
Is he still available? Is he still available?
Maybe.
He's still there. Comes back. I don't think he will, but we'll see what happens.
Oh my gosh!
He's not
I told you the wide receiver.
He's not still
that
there.
wide receiver run is
He's
rough.
not still there.
So
now we're going to be hunting for 3rd and 4th and 5th round wide receivers, boys.
Yeah.
All right, Randy, back to you. What do you got for us?
Let's see. Let's scroll down a little bit for me.
Yeah, I got you. All right.
Can't scroll down much.
Yeah, that's kind of
yucky.
Oh, I know you love Patrick Paul.
Yes.
Never
He's
mind.
going round 1.
There's a whole pocket of players right here, Randy, that you love.
Randy, come on.
Your guys all lined up in a row.
I don't know how you're going to make a choice.
Isn't that interesting how that happens?
70 to 76 there, or 77 there in that run.
Man, I know you. We all know Randy's going to take Rattler. Let's just pencil it in.
That will never happen. In a million years happen. All right. You want to hit me with the D line quick.
So there's some guys there.
Hey, Garrett, what's that guy's name?
Scout, are you ready, Scout?
Let's see what's left for wide receiver.
All right. Would you like to buy a vowel?
I mean, if this guy, came out in the draft last year, he'd be a surefire end of the first, maybe early second. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take Jalen McMillan.
I like that.
All right.
I think he's incredibly undervalued right now, kind of that forgotten man behind Rome and Polk. He came in for a top 30 visit, so that shows that there is actual interest from the Chiefs there. So super talented, big, fast, strong guy, good routes, great hands. I like it.
That is a good pick. It is a good pick.
I do.
Really screws everybody else in the wide receiver category. So
yeah, and he kind of got banged up this year, and but he was up there. There were people who had him in the same conversation as Rome, and I never thought that was fair. But good receiver. Assuming his medicals check out. And that's probably why they brought him in. All right, Kyle, what are you thinking?
Well, I trusted that the rookie would understand that this simulator is unforgiving and he wouldn't be able to see one of the receivers he really liked at the second round, and he was going to take one in the first round, and he's the rookie and doesn't know that the simulator is a spiteful broad when it wants to be.
I almost did.
No!
I almost did.
That kind of hurts a little. However, are we on the all section? Can you scroll up for me? Can we make sure I'm at the top?
We're at the top.
That's what I was making sure. I just wanted to make positive that's what I was looking at. Can you scroll down for me a little bit here? Obviously, I need to see more of the all board. Can I see the tight end position for a second?
Unhappy noises are coming.
Would you like to buy a vowel?
This is tough. This mock draft warfare, it will test you. I'll tell you what, it will test you.
Interior O-line for me. It's a little high.
Me too.
Corner? No,
me too.
That's not what I said, though. You know what? Because I took Robinson in the first round, I'm gonna take Max here.
All right.
I'm gonna take Max here. I like Max a lot. He's a Pacheco teammate. He's gonna come in and they'll be friends. That will be good for both of them. It will help. I know it's on opposite sides of the ball, but it will help him understand Andy and how they expect things and how they want things done. Mm-hmm. He gets Dave Merritt as a coach. They don't necessarily need to replace Snead with a second or third or fourth, like for a day 2 pick, but with what Max has done and what he did at the combine with his numbers, pro day numbers, combine numbers, whatnot, his play, Rutgers is. We talked about Rutgers when we ended up with Pacheco. Look, Rutgers it's rough out there in that area. And if you come out of Rutgers and you're good enough to get drafted and be good, I'm all for it. I think the kid will be good at the next level, and another weapon for Spags and Dave Merritt to play with in the secondary that just gets deeper.
That's Max Melton, a cornerback out of Rutgers.
Max Melton, cornerback out of Rutgers. Yep.
I didn't say it fully his full name. I apologize, but yes,
that's okay. Garrett, you ready?
Okay. Let's head over to the tackle position, if you wouldn't mind, please. So there's two names here that I am very intrigued by, but there is one name that will be my selection. And I'll keep it short.
Because you can't pronounce the other one.
Yeah, that one is a tough one. Those African names, they are a little tough.
You
sometimes.
Could just call him Kieran.
Kieran, yep, and then Kieran A. That's what you just call him. You call him Kieran A. No, I will be selecting Patrick Paul. I know
Garrett,
Randy's
how?
not
He's going to be gone in the first round. Ask him and his agent.
So listen, all right.
His agent's sources.
Listen, couple things on this, right? Obviously, there was a Patrick Paul himself came out not only a couple days ago,
Podcast,
and basically,
wasn't it?
he's somewhere. He basically came out and said that a lot of teams had him as a top 32 player. He expects to see his name called late Thursday in round 1. I don't see it. Now, that's not – listen, the Chiefs, obviously, I think he fits a lot of the boxes that they would want to check at tackle. And, his pass protection is really good. His pass protection is really good. I know Randy doesn't like his run blocking and doesn't like his effort on some plays. The measurables are there, I think, is what the biggest thing is. And you're pairing him with a really good offensive line coach in Andy Heck, bringing him into a situation where he doesn't have to start right away. He can kind of compete for that left tackle spot with Wanye. You get to learn next to Joe Tooney and the rest of that offensive line, kind of get an attitude adjustment, if you will, kind of get him in the right headspace. Ultimately, I think it might be, I don't think he might even would be available here at 64 necessarily. But I could see a situation where the Chiefs go ahead and take him and try to, get the ceiling of what he could potentially be out of the way. So I'm going to go with Patrick Paul.
All right. It leaves me with a couple of interesting options here. Positionally, I am looking at tight end. I'm looking at defensive line, and I guess I could also look at edge.
There's some value to be had at D-line.
There is.
Everybody hates Chris. It's a good TV show. You should check it out.
That was good. That was a banger.
All right, I'm going to play the game here. I'm playing the actual mock draft warfare game, and I'm going to preface this with saying I don't think that the Chiefs take this guy in the second round, but I think that they're kicking the tires on him. I don't think he goes in the second round at all. But I'm playing the game. I want the title. I want the belt. I'm taking Devondre Sweat.
Sweaty.
So I know they're going to work on him. He might be off the board entirely. I'm taking this, for two reasons. One, Hall is undersized. He's going to be an under tackle, kind of a pass rush specialist. A lot of fun to watch. Could be a really good player, but he's going to be rotational and offers a lot of what, you kind of like a lot of overlap with Chris. I like Rook Aurora. Sorry, Scout. I like him. Clemson asked their D-line to do weird things. Again, very similar. Sweat is a true nose tackle, and we've seen Steve Spagnuolo really like big guys before. They brought him in for a top 30 visit. I'm playing the game here. I think if they got him on day 3, that wouldn't upset me. I would not be super thrilled with him in round 2. But if all you're doing is saying, hey, you're going to come in on day 3 and you're going to be my guy who spells Derek Nottie every once in a while, I can live with that. Now, obviously, I'm telling you, I wouldn't take him at 64, but he's not going to be here at the next pick in this mock draft. and I want to win, so I'm taking Sweat here.
Yep.
I almost did it, Tom. I almost did it.
Yeah,
I almost did it.
All
Because
right.
you're 100% right. As much as Randy doesn't like it, if the Chiefs are what second chance you wanted to be at the college level, but they actually have success with it because they actually get to the interviews, they actually figure out the character of a lot of these guys, and they actually do a lot of stuff internally to keep guys under wraps and keep things kind of in control. And then they go other places, and we see things like somebody's podcast and certain things going a bit goofy and things that were said today and how we should have retired a number. And I love you, but 6 years, homie, not quite number retirement at this point until you're done, at least.
So my thing about Sweat is not so much that I dislike the player. I dislike the player where a lot of people are like suggesting that he goes. He's not a first round guy. He's not a second round guy. I personally think he's
would he be
early four
in some areas of like the non-football?
See, and I don't like his off the field issues.
Oh, I know. That's what I'm saying. What is the problem really with the on the field, or is it with the part where he's got all kinds of goofy stuff around him?
The problem I see is I think he is Terrence Cody 2.0. He is a massive human being that can play one position, 2 downs. He's a 2-down guy. And
pass rush,
he cannot maintain an average weight. So I don't think he is disciplined enough to maintain his body.
He's immature. We know he's immature. But
that immaturity goes on with his body discipline,
all areas,
his off the field discipline.
Usually, when you're immature the whole way through. It's not like
exactly. So I see him out of the league in 5 years. His body's going to give out, or he's going to do something stupid. So I don't want anything to do with that nonsense.
That's fine, but the Chiefs love being the second chance. They do it all the time.
Gotta play the game.
Cody, boys. I can list about 50 other examples of this.
But if I could handle saying
whether it be medicals or off the field, they love second chances, bro.
Late third, early fourth. If he's in the league for 5 years, then I'm not pissed off at wasting that draft, high draft pick and having him gone. Like those mid round, that's fine. Whatever.
That's fine.
And that's what I said. Like I'm with you, Randy. From a player's perspective, take the off the field stuff away. I think the conditioning is going to be a big question. And at the same time, you can't take it off because the off the field. Yeah. I'm not talking about the character, the immaturity, the DWI. I'm talking when he showed up at the Senior Bowl.
4 hours.
Well, when he showed up at the Senior Bowl, he didn't weigh in, and there were speculations that he was in the 370s or 380s.
Woo!
Yeah. So
big guy.
Yeah. I mean, so that's the concern, and it is like, and that's Garrett. Before. I mean, I know he's got money because it's Texas and NIL and all that stuff, but it's what happens when you get to the NFL, and we can spend some time talking about this because my next pick is as obvious as
pretty obvious, and it is a crusher for me.
Yeah,
I'm not even gonna. Yeah, I'm taking Devontae Walker.
Sprinting that card to the commissioner.
No, I already turned it in. I turned it in last time.
Tom knocked over 2 old ladies, a pastor, and three children with terminal illnesses to get
and kicked 4 dogs and stepped on a cat. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Yeah.
All right. So Devontae
really is a pain for some of you guys. Kyle and Garrett, good luck finding a wide receiver.
It is tough. I mean, Randy and Tom both just really doing it to us. Yeah, it's a good thing because otherwise one of us would not have had a wide receiver. All right. Let's scroll down the board a little bit for me, please, if you would, Tom.
Just in case anybody didn't know, Devontae Walker was the pick.
Yeah, Devontae Walker.
Devontae Walker is the pick. Yep. Mm-hmm. So wide receiver gets eliminated here. That does stink. That does stink. Okay, so I have a couple thoughts in my head here. One of them's pretty crazy. One of them's a pretty crazy thought, and one's a little more sane of a thought. The crazy thought would be Mr. Marshawn Lloyd from USC, the running back who is a ball player. As a USC fan, I have to say he is a really good ball player. Pairing him up with Isaiah Pacheco would be nasty. I think that would be a really nice combo in the backfield there.
They need a running back.
They do need a running back. That is a need. You also have Ben Sinnott sitting right there.
He is there.
He is there. You need, you have Noah Gray back for another year. Obviously, you're trying to kind of predict the future of when Kelsey retires, but Ben's not a really good local player. It's a tough one. I also kind of want to go Kalen Bullock once again, just because the USC guy. But I think I'm gonna.
I drafted a corner in the second round, but they have so much secondary. It's so stupid. How
I know that is the problem, and there's maybe it's a long term, like you're looking for Justin Reed's replacement eventually. Kind of getting another guy in the wings there. Even like Christian Mahogany isn't too bad of an option as guard. But I'm gonna just go wild with it. I'm gonna go Marshawn Lloyd, running back out of USC. I don't necessarily know if the Chiefs would take him in the third round per se. He might be kind of a late third, early mid fourth round player. And who knows exactly how the board will fall and where the Chiefs will be picking at in all of these rounds, obviously. But pairing him with Isaiah Pacheco would be really good. I think he fits some of the things that the Chiefs like in running backs, and I think he'd be a really dynamic addition for the next couple of years. So I'm gonna go Marshawn Lloyd.
All right, Kyle.
Sprinting to the board. With what my current lineup is, with the defensive line, with an edge and a corner, I'm sprinting to the podium. Kieran, buddy. Kieran,
welcome.
You come hang out and play left tackle with Wanye and figure out who's better between the two of you in camp, and we'll go from there.
And he might be a red shirt guy just because he is coming back from pretty
don't care.
Which is all right. I mean, you don't necessarily need an instant starter right away.
It's there.
In a third round here with what I've got, what all's been taken, and what positions are available, and what this team needs, especially with what I've drafted so far, he's the option.
Yeah. All right. All right, Randy. All right, go ahead and
Randy, you are on the board now.
Yeah, your favorite player in the draft.
I don't know why you got to do that, Tom. I see what you're doing.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
All right, who are you feeling? Just a reminder, you can't take a wide receiver, running back, or an offensive tackle. So
that's all right.
That's all right.
So we're sitting here in the third round. Kyle kind of poo-pooed what I was kind of thinking about doing here.
Yep.
That's how that works.
Yep. Yeah, and that's all right. So, I'm sitting here with Wiggins. I got Jalen McMillan. I do see one of my favorite guys sitting there right now, and I will go with Mr. Ben Sinnott. I will take the tight end from Kansas State.
Good pick.
Another guy that's come in for a top 30 pick. I know we have Travis, and I know we got Noah, and we did sign Irv. Big Irv, but
Speaking of second,
I think Sinnott's versatility to where he can line up in a bunch of different places. And everybody knows, me being an NDSU guy, Coach Kleiman down there now at Kansas State, I love the way he coaches football. He does it the right way. His guys play hard. They're tough. Big Ben Sinnott. He's my number 2 tight end, and to get him in the third, that's all right with me.
That is pretty good.
Real quick,
I would love Ben. Ben is fun.
Yeah, I think we'd all love Ben. I don't think there's any.
Yeah.
But just to recap where we're at so far at the end of the third, going into the fourth. So on my team, I've got round 1, Kingsley Suamataia, offensive tackle at BYU. And then in round 2, I went to Tavondre Sweat, defensive tackle out of Texas. And then I sprinted back to the podium in round 3 to take Devontae Walker, wide receiver out of the University of North Carolina. Garrett in round 1 went with Johnny Newton. Great value for that pick. And then he came back and grabbed Johnny Newton's defensive tackle out of Illinois. Garrett then grabbed Patrick Paul, offensive tackle out of Houston. And in this last round, grabbed a running back, Marshawn Lloyd, out of USC, who I think would be a solid addition.
I know, baby.
Even with Garrett's bias measured in. Kyle with one of my favorite players in the first round, Darius Robinson, defensive end / tackle hybrid, whatever Spagnuolo tells him to do. He's just going to go in there and move bodies around.
Chest piece.
Second round, Kyle came back and continued to build on the defense. Got Max Melton out of Rutgers, cornerback, super athletic, comes from an athletic family. Very competitive.
Will punch
kid.
You in the mouth at the line of scrimmage.
Yes, very competitive. replaces, I think, a lot of what you're losing with L'Jarius Sneed. Maybe not as much versatility, but like in terms of the physical profile and mentality, that's definitely there. And then third round, Kyle grabbed an offensive tackle, Kieran Amagaji. I think Amagaji.
I believe it's just Ameji. I don't think it's all the pronunciation. I think it's just Ameji. If I watched a bunch of his games last year, and the announcers called him Ameji a lot.
All right, Ameji.
Okay. So
That's
offensive tackle out of Yale, and then Randy, who started the
Do
first
not
round.
ask me why I watched a bunch of Yale college football games last year. We are not going to talk about it. State of Kansas might have legalized something. That's all I'll say.
Randy was backed into a corner, but he went best player available, grabbed Nate Wiggins, who would be a phenomenal corner if he were there at 32 for the Chiefs. Circled back around and grabbed, we agreed, an underrated wide receiver in Jalen McMillan out of Washington. And then this last round came back and got all of our sweethearts. Ben Sanat, tight end out of K-State.
A lot of purple on Randy's team.
There is a lot of purple on Randy's team. We've got a theme here.
Which is weird because that's my least favorite color in the world.
Yeah, you got 3 guys from schools that have purple as one of their main colors.
Yeah, living in Minnesota, that's weird. So
yeah. Well, Randy, you are back on the clock, my friend. You've added a corner, you've added a receiver, you've added a tight end.
It's a Mega G.
A Mega
G.
A Mega
G.
All right.
A Mega G.
Okay.
Your
that
name.
makes sense.
All right. Well, I see.
And it's Karan, not Kieran. But yeah,
dang it.
That's a weird.
Dang it.
I see 4 of my favorite guys on the board right now, but if you could check out the tackles for me, I just want to kind of see who's still sitting right there at this 4th round, pick 131.
Ugh.
It's tempting.
Project.
He's a developmental guy.
Back to the alls.
I know. I'm fairly certain I know who you're looking at. And, like, I get it. I just, guys, don't wait. Hope they don't wait till the 3rd round or 4th round to draft a tackle. Holy shit!
Again, Donovan Smith's going to be on speed dial for
There's a name at the very bottom of that screen. There's a name at the very bottom of that screen. Pretty good name right there.
With the way this has worked, some of the my tackle targets have not been available because of the getting position canceling.
The way this works, that is the way it works.
But right now, I think one of the guys that I just cannot pass up at this point might be my favorite small school player. It's a position of need. Now that we lost Allegretti, our swing backup offensive lineman, the interior guy, I'm going to take Mason McCormick out of South Dakota State.
I knew it.
McCormick's a dog. I mean, if you want to say anything about FCS football, we can talk about it, and then you can go practice falling down for a while. So McCormick's tough. He's versatile. He's athletic. He has that, what Tom and I call, he's got that nasty want in his soul to bury you in the dirt.
Oh, Trey Smith in him.
Yep. So with
Tooney
potentially, Tooney's got 2 years left on his contract. We got to try to pay Trey. And
he also tore his pec like not that long ago. In case everybody forgot, like that sucks. By the way, nobody's like no, it's not fun.
Yeah. So
I just strained it a bunch and like messed up some ligaments and stuff in the rib cage, and that was plenty. Tearing a pec sounds like all bad.
Yeah, but McCormick's a dude. He's that nasty interior offensive lineman that's going to put your ass in the dirt. He's going to smile. He's going to get up and he's going to do it again. So we need some interior offensive line depth. So I'm, as a Bison guy, it hurts me to pick a jackrabbit, but McCormick's the real deal.
Yeah, he's a dude.
All right.
He moves well. All right, Kyle,
I also love the jackrabbits. I love the line play. Randy mentioned it earlier. The line play from like North Dakota State, South Dakota State, North Dakota. Those, they may be Div 2, but they play line play like it's Div 1 football. Some of those boys. I remember what's Cody Mock was last year's draft, right?
Yeah,
that kid was fun. Wide receivers, Tom. Just briefly, not really probably gonna love what I'm looking at here.
Your guy.
Oof.
He's still there. Just take him, Kyle.
Oof.
Just take him.
I don't like that at all. Click the all button again. I click the all.
Run
button.
away.
Scroll down.
You got a pretty good slot wide receiver sitting out there on that list yet.
No. But
No.
no, not right now. Not at this pick. I like him, but not at 100. Not at round 4. Go back. Click on the wide receiver. Stop scrolling. You scrolled past my guy. Stop
scrolling.
Wide receiver.
Yeah, go back to the wide receiver for a minute. You're talking about 201 there, right?
No, I'm not. I'm talking about 131 or 134. Okay. Sorry.
I understand, but that doesn't really fit what they like with what they have at wide receiver, because they have a bunch of dudes that play the slot already, and I really just don't know.
Sky Moore and Kadarius Toney.
None of them are good though.
Well, as Andy Reid and Brett Veach recently told you, the most talented wide receiver in the wide receiver room is Kadarius Toney. So.
And what else do we know about Brett Veach? He lies. He lies.
Scroll slightly down for me, Tom. I'm really mad because I would like to take Cam Hart right here, but I took Max earlier, and that taking 2 corners just makes no sense.
I don't need 2 of them, yeah.
So, instead, I'm going to go with another need for this team that is not wide receiver, but is a Notre Dame guy, and somebody I could see them taking in the 4th or 5th or even 6th round. Give me Audric Estimate, and I'm telling you guys right now, Garrett talked about potential pairings with Isaiah Pacheco earlier. Y'all will love this kid. Love him. He eats glass and walks over hot coals for fun. The kid, he has more. I broke somebody hitting me in the backfield's face and then went 7 yards than any running back I've watched in the last 15 to 20 years. He gets hit, runs through 3 dudes, and makes 8 yards out of half a yard all the time. Oh, by the way, he can catch and he can pass block. I don't know why people aren't higher on him. I'm not even sure if he'll be there at this point, because scouts aren't like most fans and they just completely disregard running back until like 4th round. The kid is so talented. He did it every game, no matter who the quarterback was, no matter who the coach was, no matter who the offensive coordinator was, because Jesus Lord, we went through all kinds of nonsense in his 4 years or there or whatever. He was every time. And by the way, he was there with a ton of running backs in front of him, and it's just they constantly have guys that can run the ball there. There's a reason. He's one of the best they've had in most of my life watching them. He's going to be a lot of fun in the NFL. Somebody's getting a steal. He makes sense. Give me Audric.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun running backs in this draft.
This is about the point in the draft, I think, where you're going to see most of the running backs start to fly off the board, because there's a lot of similarly talented dudes. I like Audric. I think he's a tough dude. He's a bowling ball. He's 5'11", he's 221, he's strong.
You know what he reminds me of?
He's got decent vision. The thing that the knock on him is this: there's no long speed. He's a 4.7. He's a 4.7 guy. He's an 8 to 15 yards of cloud of dust, and then we're going to do it again.
Yep.
So
that's the only thing. He's not taking it to the house in the NFL. I promise.
I mean, that's just what he is. That's his
linebackers run him down in the open field.
He's a bit of a bruiser, but he's got quick feet. He's got decent vision. He's quick in the hole, but yeah, he's not outrunning. He's not outrunning hardly anybody. So.
I was watching Mike Allstott highlights earlier.
Oh, that clip! I watched that highlight clip probably 20 times today, because
who was lead blocking for him too?
Lorenzo Neal.
Yeah.
Who, by the way, gets no love because he also lead blocked for LaDainian Tomlinson in LA and then for the Chargers in San Diego.
That'd be a crazy backfield. Lorenzo Neal and Mike Allstott.
It's just basically it's a moving battering ram is all.
And I will say about Audric, it's a lot of the Chiefs.
Yeah, Garrett's familiar. He got to see it for like 4 years in a row.
I will say a lot of the Chiefs touchdowns last year, and many years actually, they come within in the red zone. Like it's not like they have a ton of like big long touchdown run. Like a lot of time they'll get within the 5 yards and then just need someone to punch it in. So Audric would be great. There's a lot of fun running backs that you could pair with Pacheco in this draft. For me, and with my next pick here, I am going to go with receiver. If you go back to that receiver tab.
Oh, there's a receiver.
Yeah, there's a guy that we just talked about that Kyle denied going with.
I knew he was going to do it.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Jacob Cowing. I have been a pretty big fan of Jacob Cowing's game for a while. I mean, so he played in the Pac-12 obviously versus USC, and he was Arizona's main offense. Like he was Arizona's offense basically. Like they fed him the ball, and he did basically everything in that offense. little bit smaller of a guy. He's a little undersized. And, we talked about that slot receiver role that we already have a lot of. Like Randy said, you could argue not many of them are good options, though, really. And, Jacob Cowing, he like the metrics and efficiency stats and everything doesn't necessarily lead in his favor, right? It's not like he has a great chance of succeeding in the NFL, but I like a lot of his traits. I think he's a hard worker. I think you can definitely use him pretty well and make him a pretty versatile weapon in the offense with no expectation. That's the biggest thing. You don't have to expect him to come in and be a huge contributor right away. You can let him get familiar with the offense. He can kind of be used. I think he does returns too, kick returns and stuff, because he's just a good athlete. And he was the best athlete basically at Arizona. He carried them pretty hard, and he was a pretty fun player to watch, even though sometimes it was on UFC's behalf. So we're going to go with Jacob Cowing, wide receiver out of Arizona.
Yeah. All right. That guy is, one of our biggest struggles last year was what? Guys who couldn't catch the football. His hands are pretty reliable. He had 90 catches and 13 touchdowns too. I mean, so he's one of those guys who did a lot of work in the red zone.
He did a lot of work.
I mean, he's 5'8", he's 170 pounds, but he ran a sub 4.4. Good.
Yeah, hands. I mean, that wasn't the craziest, but he's just a solid guy you could add into that mix, and I think you could develop into to be a pretty solid receiver.
Yep. If you can get some Tank Dell-esque plays out of him, it'd be a pretty good value.
Sure.
Yeah. Speaking of good athletes, I'm gonna go with a position that I feel like this draft doesn't have a lot of players that are worth taking, but also that I think we're not always conscious of as the Chiefs fans. We're very acutely aware of a lot of players who have left, but we haven't talked about Willie Gay's departure. There's a guy who's very similar in terms of athleticism. Probably has some room to grow, but Kentucky linebacker Trevin Wallace, who I would be a little surprised is here, but this isn't a great linebacker class. I like Wallace. It's just a pretty
bad linebacker class. Like there's not a lot of high.
Let him cut his teeth on special teams. Rotated man, depth. The Chiefs really like depth at linebacker because they seem to always get banged up at that position throughout the year. So grabbing Wallace here to round that out, and then we're back to me. Okay, so I could really mess with you guys and take wide receiver again. I won't.
If those are only that you'd be messing with that.
Let's see here. I have a couple guys I'm looking at.
This round.
Gosh, this is tough. All right, let's see. Wide receiver. Yeah,
a lot of the same guys who are still there.
I know I've been disappearing out of frame. I didn't bring enough supplies for how long this mock draft.
That's all right. We're flying. We've only got 2 more picks left.
No, we're actually moving really fast, but I just didn't bring enough stuff into my office, and now I've had to go out and get stuff like 3 times.
That'll happen sometimes.
Yeah. All right, I'm going. I'm going to grab that depth piece here. I'm going to go Brandon Coleman, interior offensive lineman out of TCU.
Is that what they have him listed as? Is that what?
Yeah, they've got him.
What would you listen as, Tom? I've seen tackle. I've seen interior lineman.
He's going to play guard.
What's Daniel Jeremiah? What's the
play guard.
Got him listed as?
He's going to play guard.
I think he does have the versatility to play everything, but I'm taking him as a guard, as an interior guy. That's my Nick Allegretti replacement / potential, future starter. I do love Coleman's traits. Last year he was really, really good, but this previous year, the most recent year, just was not as good. Took a step back. So I don't know. It was kind of a weird. He's kind of a tough evaluation, but it's the 5th round. Grab a guy with traits and let your coaches build him up. So Brandon Coleman, guard. That's who I'm taking.
Garrett, that is a tough distinction.
He's 6'4", 313. He was on Feldman's freak list. So he's super athletic. He's a powerful dude. I just think he's best suited. I think with his athleticism for sure, being able to move around inside. I think he's gonna be a pretty good guard.
That's a Trey Smith / Nick Joe Tooney / Allegretti.
Yep.
Allegretti for now. One of those 2 other guys for a future replacement.
Yep. That's exactly
Scroll
my
down,
thought.
scroll down a little bit more time for me, please, if you don't mind. See who else is kind of
There's a
available
running
in
back
this
there for
range.
sure.
Yeah, man.
That dude ruined my whole college football season 2 years ago or whatever it was.
There's
one
certainly some
night.
interesting.
Who did that, Kyle?
Will Shipley.
Oh,
No.
Go over
He ran
to
like 215 against us.
go over to
Mr.
cornerback
my
if you
feelings.
could. Go to
Mr.
cornerback.
Can't hold on to the football. That's why he made my shit list.
Yeah, well, he hurt my whole college football season.
Not love guys I love at corner. What about safety? Anyone good at safety? I don't
Great
know any of these
name.
names.
Bo
I don't know. Bo Braid is a good name. Go to tackle one more time. If
Josh
you just
Proctor
don't.
gets no love.
Offensive tackle?
Yeah, offensive tackle, but maybe also defensive tackle. I don't know. Edge rusher maybe too for a second.
Yeah.
Anything at all.
Yeah, I mean we are picking at the bottom of the barrel.
Pick that again. Go back to the D lineman for a second. There's not nobody there jumps out to you, huh?
I mean Christian Boyd a little bit. I chose Johnny Newton earlier, so it's
I know.
It's, you know,
Christian and Johnny aren't the same guy though. Those
what
are
about
very
tight end?
different.
Ain't tight ends left?
Remember Houston Baptist, where Mike DeVito did not play?
Oh, yeah.
Where he not played, but he graduated from.
DeVito played where, Tom?
Maine.
But
he got his master's degree from Houston Baptist.
That's great. He played at.
Okay, go back to all, and let's just
there are
see
some tight ends there that are interesting.
Yeah, I don't love the picks that are available here. If you scroll down a little bit more, Nehemiah Pritchett.
Okay,
he's a name I've heard at least. Yeah. Go back to corner one more time. Go back to corner one more time. I think I'm going to choose a corner just because of value here. I don't know what you guys' favorite corners right here. Can I use phone a friend here? Who do you guys think?
Call a friend.
Yeah, Tom.
Randy, do you have one?
If I was to pick one out of the top 4, I'd take Josh Newton.
That's what
Josh Newton. Yeah,
tested the most out of that whole group.
Not a bad. Hold on, let me just.
I mean, if you were talking preseason, Kalen King all day.
Yeah,
the dude had a year.
Yeah, I watched him against several things in the Big Ten and several guys in the Big Ten, and I was like, I'm okay. Look, if you're Josh Newton. Look, everybody can say whatever they want about the Big 12. The only position that ever gets tested in the Big 12 is the cornerback position. It's the only one because all they do is throw the football. So if you're decent in the Big 12, you're probably above average as far as most corners are concerned. Here, if you're talking value, I'd roll dice on Josh Newton over what's also there.
I would say if you're not familiar, and I don't know, this might be a little bit early for him. I just like his athletic traits and his versatility. And that's
Tom says bet on Dave Merritt.
That's Jalen Simpson. He's got some safety experience. He's got some corner experience.
Yeah.
He's a little bit light, but he's got long arms, and he ran really, really well at the combine.
Yeah, I'm pulling up his out of the top three guys there. The RAS for Jalen Simpson is the best. So, I'm gonna go with let's go with Jalen Simpson. Let's go. You're adding the developmental corner. You let Dave Merritt do his thing. He's got some good speed to him.
He's probably got the highest upside. I think.
He has the versatility that they like in corners. He can play a little bit of safety. He can do some other things. Let's just send it with we'll send it with him.
Jalen Simpson, cornerback out of Auburn. All right, Kyle.
All right, well, I got to figure out a wide receiver in the next 2 picks. So do me a favor and show me the wide receiver room for a second.
Show me what?
It's still some guys right there. Guys.
It's still just 2 guys, and there's still several, including one that Garrett took already, sitting there. So, look, I understand that everybody loves the McCaffrey family, but that's the one McCaffrey that doesn't fit the mold of all the other McCaffreys. And it's nothing against Luke. It's just he's played like 4 positions in the last 8 years, and he's never really. They keep finding a spot for him because he's a good football player, and they'll probably find a spot for him somewhere in this league. I just don't know what he does for you because it's just a lot of questions there. I don't like it. I don't And there's still 2 more that I think will be there later. So what I'm going to do now is look at the other position that Tom mentioned that we haven't talked about a lot, and that's linebacker.
Oh,
You can hook me, but
Oh,
no, it's just. I mean, you're gonna get what you're gonna get at this point.
yeah, and there's a guy. God,
There's 2 guys on this list that I still kind of like. So
that's a rare one.
The Chiefs love a couple of things: captains and like 4-year players and big leadership guys that do a lot of things really well. And I know for a fact about one player that is for sure a thing because I watched him for 4 years at Notre Dame. JD Bertrand is a guy who, if you need to play in a pinch with Bolton or Tranquil or somebody down, he's smart enough to pick up on any of the Spags defenses. You could put the green dot on him in a year and a half, maybe even this year, if you get him in right away and get him in the system and let him sit and eat it up and learn it. He was a captain. He's a leader. His teammates love him. He's not going to blow you away, but he's always going to be where he's supposed to be when he's supposed to be, even if it doesn't look pretty when he does it. And with the Willie Gay thing, they kept Drew. They paid him for a couple of years. They're going to pay Nick. They need depth at the position here, and I hate the wide receiver options. I'm taking JD Bertrand.
All right.
You know who he is? You know who he is? Like really? He's a younger Drew Tranquil. Same school, same build, same leadership
I've
style.
watched Drew when he was in Notre Dame, and I've watched JD, and I'm like, they're basically the same guy. And if they're in the same room together, that's another thing. Him and Drew together in the if he gets to sit and absorb and learn, especially because there's already going to be a bond. Alumni, former players, I'm sure they've met and talked because Drew went back to the university a ton. He's majorly involved with Notre Dame. It just makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, also got quite the jawline on him. Jeez Louise.
He's a monster.
Jeez Louise.
Now they all know you're looking up these players as we go, Garrett. He's like, who's this guy?
I had to, because he said Drew Tranquil, so I had to confirm.
JD Bertrand is so fun to watch play.
I just had to confirm that he was white.
You know him. You know him because he's beaten you up for like 4 years. USC does not like him.
Yeah, I definitely remember him.
Right.
Yeah.
Randy, what are you thinking?
The annoying white guy that was always knocking a ball down that he shouldn't be able to reach.
An ultimate pick. You got 2 back-to-back.
So round 4. Show me the tackles real quick.
Offensive or defensive?
Offensive.
This is picks 5 and round 5 and round 5, right?
Yeah, these are 2 5th-round picks. One's at the start of the 5th round or near the start, and then one's kind of near the end.
Just for clarification for everybody, the positions will reset again after Randy makes this pick. It's the same round, but it's a different pick selection in that round, so it still resets.
Yeah. And Randy's going to take wide receiver, and I'm going to fall out of my chair laughing.
It's all right. I'm prepared for that.
No. I gotta round out my squad here, and I'm gonna take a tackle who I think has some upside because he has that thing that I talk about all the time. He's got that nasty in him. He's a big dude at 6'6", 313. He's a Missouri guy, so I'm going to take Javon Foster.
I knew that he fits measurables if they're going to take a late tackle.
Yep.
That's a good pick.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think, did they have him in for a visit?
I swear I thought I saw that name.
Pro Day, one of the 2.
I don't know. Right. Check Charles Goldman stuff. He's got trackers for both of those in detail written out.
Everybody
articles.
wants that.
We love Goldie.
That pick. All right, Randy.
All right, so coming back down, show me the interior D line.
Why is Jacob Cowling still on the board? Garrett
took him
2 rounds ago. This is
That's tough.
There's my dog. I am taking Christian Boyd.
There's his dog.
It is.
I'm keeping track of all of our picks too. So
yeah, me too. Kyle.
I just need the wide receiver board, bud.
Yep, that's all he needs. Just has to pick somebody from wide receivers. As soon as Tom's
just gotta get a receiver and hope that
and he's there.
Yep.
All right.
They're both there.
Damn. There's one option, I think, here, Tom.
There's 2.
Kyle.
There's
Come
2
on,
options.
Kyle. There's one option.
Oh, he's a big fan of Mr. Holy Cross.
I do like Jalen Coker a lot. actually, in the later rounds.
Yeah, but I mean, come on, Kyle.
I don't
Wide
think you
receiver,
get a-
you.
I don't
Come
think
on.
it
It's not
counts
at
if
this
he's
point.
a UDFA.
It's not Taj, buddy. I'm not taking Taj.
Bro, you wide receiver, you. Come
I'm not.
on.
He's
He's
not
gonna
even
be a
on my.
Hall of Famer.
He's not
Get
even
the
the guy on my
jacket.
radar, to be honest with you.
Get the jacket.
All right,
I'm
Gold
sorry.
jacket.
It's
Kyle,
not. It's either the Beaver
The
or the guy
suspense
with
is
the
killing
shield.
us.
It's either Anthony Gold or the guy with the shield and Jalen Coker, and I just have to make a decision between which one it's going to be. And Gold.
I'll say this on those two. One of them offers significant upside on special teams over the other.
Which is what, Anthony Gold?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's a
and
great
he fits
returner.
more of the mold for the Chiefs. I personally like Jalen Coker, but I don't think
Oh,
the
so
Chiefs
do
will
I.
take
So do I.
Jalen Coker.
But I'm like, for
Jalen Coker, for those who are not familiar with Jalen Coker, for me, he's a guy that doesn't really fit what the Chiefs would prefer, but I would like to see them add to the offense, but they will never actually do it. So I think it's got to be Anthony Gold, because I think this is a Dave Tobe pick at this point.
Mhm.
You get a wide receiver piece, but you also get Dave Tobe to be like, yeah, he can also return kicks. And this new rugby stuff, he could be like a lateral guy for Luis if we want. With the practice squad player, I'm going to elevate as many times as I physically possibly can this season and all playoffs when they don't count.
and he's a top 30 visit guy.
I'll take Anthony Gold he's kind of once the board started falling and how my player draft kind of went, he's the name I immediately circled probably 3 rounds ago at the wide receiver position. Once I started to see where we were headed, like, yeah, he'll be there, and I'm willing to take him at the end of the 5th versus when some would probably wait till the 6th to deal with it. That's fine. You don't need him for this year. You don't need any wide receiver really for this season with what you currently have. Now, you have to figure out the first 2 to 4 to 6 games with whatever that happens with Rashid, probably. But other than that, you've got enough guys in the building that you can make it work through the beginning of the year until everybody's around for the rest of the season. That you don't need a wide receiver this season, and you can go after one next year when you want to trade up and you have extra draft picks to do that with, because you trade it because you got L'Jarius Sneed for a 3rd round pick that you can now move up with next year or maybe this
year. Yeah. All right, Tom. If you could please go over to the edge category. Scroll down a little. I think my guy isn't there anymore, right? I mean, my guy ain't there anymore. My guy Miles Cole, he is just not.
Miles is gone.
He is not there anymore. That is unfortunate. All right. Before, what about interior offensive line? What's it looking like over on that front?
You can't. I already took Christian Boyd.
Yep.
No, you said. You couldn't take a defense tackle.
Yeah, no, I'm talking interior offensive line. Yeah.
IOL, but
I don't like any of them anyways. Yep. So I mean, what about tackle? Any names in tackle that I might not hate?
That's actually no. I'm surprised he's still there in the simulator.
Yeah, Matt Conflay isn't the worst pick.
I'm just surprised he's still there. He's probably
I guess
on the 4th, if I was guessing when he goes in this draft.
Mm-hmm.
Just because of the scarcity of tackles in this draft.
You got the linebackers. Is there any linebackers are still available?
Probably, yeah. Actually,
yeah.
Well, I mean, the guy I drafted, but
the guy you drafted. That's going. I mean, that will do something. I don't know. I'm leaning towards edge rusher. I think
Leofau gets slept on. I will tell you that. I know it's another Notre Dame guy, but if you watch him for a 2-down linebacker, probably not 3-down, and probably not a coverage guy necessarily, but for a 2-down linebacker for some depth to do some things behind Leo and behind he won't lead your defense, but behind Leo and that 3rd linebacker spot that they have never really found backups for or depth for, he could be that.
Yeah,
I'm not telling you he's going to be a world beater, but he's at
with all that being said,
175 or 3.
Yeah, with all that being said, I don't know about him. I think I'm in between Jalix Hunt and Cedric Johnson. I think as the two potential options here.
We talked about the Baptist. We talked about the Baptist last time.
We did talk about the Baptist last time. I know he's a bit of a Tom guy, so we'll go with Jalix Hunt. I think he's a good developmental guy. late in here in the 5th round. He's got decent size and measurables to him. So I mean, I think he could get him in and get him developed pretty well. I know we have a lot of edge rushers in the cabinet back there to develop as well, but you can always have more.
It's the 5th round version of the guy I took in the 1st round of this mock. Pretty much. It's just another guy to stick in the rotation and figure out where you can slot him in and fit him in from the D-line perspective.
Yeah. So I'll go edge Jalen Hunt with my last pick.
I would be honest, I would have went with Cedric Johnson, but moving on. All right. So
this is our last pick.
Close this out.
Is this Mr. Irrelevant?
The last one, Tyler.
Close this out, Brian.
Tonight.
Go with something crazy.
I'm gonna start calling you.
Well,
Brian
I am looking at the punter here.
Yeah, replace the punt god. He's not a real punt god, anyways.
Stop that.
Garrett's like,
this is more insult to injury to the Buffalo Bills if he works out for us. If you just leave him.
Hold on. We've already got enough on them.
Bring back Tommy. Who has more hatred? Does Garrett hate the punt god?
I just want Tommy back, bro.
Randy
Come on.
Hates
Can we trade for him mid-season?
They were never paying him that.
I don't care. I'll pay him. We'll start a GoFundMe.
Let's
start a GoFundMe for him. All right.
I would wish they didn't roster a punter. Then Andy would have to go for it more.
You make a solid point.
Then literally let the kid from the rugby team punt and hold. Stop with the nonsense.
Tom, Tom, not to persuade you at all, but I did notice you don't have any running backs selected in this draft. You're a big running back guy.
I do like running backs.
Just
maybe not these running backs.
Those running backs.
I mean, I do. No, hold on. I really do like Isaiah Davis.
There's
I would consider
actually
Davis and Johnson.
Dylan Lobb from New Hampshire is no joke either.
You gave Dylan Lobb.
But he's more of a specialist. Like he's going to be a pass catcher guy. I mean, they need that.
He's a third down back.
Cody Schrader is no slouch. That kid was the offense at Missouri for like a year and a half, where they didn't have a quarterback that could figure out where forward was. Sorry, Mizzou fans. Y'all know. You guys watch that team. He did a lot of work for a Mizzou team that had no. People were like, Luther Burden, throw him the ball. We can't. We don't know how to throw it forward. I don't know what's happening.
All right, real quick, live lookup. I need to check one thing on these two prospects. Live lookup, here it is. I don't have them all memorized. I'm sorry that I don't know all the arm lengths for the 5th round corners.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Please forgive me.
And you picked the corner that Garrett has that you now can't draft early.
Yeah, you did. You did do that for me. Yeah, appreciate that.
It's on the board. Right. And I tried to give him the guy right, and Randy and I tried to give him the guy right below him on the board that's still available.
That's okay. I'm looking at
for those that are just audio listening, this episode is very, very visual.
Yeah, you should be watching on YouTube.
YouTube version of this would probably be the best place to consume this episode. Just for all, we probably should have led with that, but now that we're an hour and 15 minutes in,
better late than never. Better late than never.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now that you've listened to the entire thing and have no idea and haven't watched any of it, you should go check it out on YouTube and give us a double listen.
Come over and watch it.
And while you're there, subscribe.
Yeah. See our beautiful faces. You can see Tom frantically Google searching prospects.
I'm not. Calm down.
Garrett.
I'm calm.
Garrett touched the nerve.
There is still another corner prospect a little farther down that I'm a big fan of. I think he's got some incredible traits.
Are you talking about? Was he visible on the screen just a second ago?
He was.
No.
When I was.
Oh.
No.
Tom, right. Your guy was visible?
Yeah. I'm between two guys, and they've both got injury questions.
Oh, so Burkholder makes this pick. Who's making it? Who is it? Because guys, there's a reason that we joke, but like Andy trusts his staff.
Yeah.
Implicitly. So when we talk about a Dave Tobe pick or a Spags pick or a Burkholder pick, that's a real Trey Smith. Rick Burkholder made that call, guys. That's just how it works.
And this is about where they will roll the draft on these type of things.
Noah Gray was a Rick Burkholder call. I don't know. We talked about the diabetes thing with Adonai Mitchell in last episode. That's a legit, like, it's stupid that some teams have that as a concern, but they do legitimately have that as a concern because some of the training staffs, as dumb as it sounds, and some NFL training staffs, maybe not so comfortable with dealing with players with diabetes and understanding how that all works, because it's a lot. It's diet, it's everything that goes into their day, and if you've never been around it or experienced it, it's a lot to digest all at once. And if the person themselves may not fully understand it or deal with it or respect it in the best way, that's a real hard conversation for those teams. So,
Randy, were you talking about Miles Harden? Was that your guy?
No, I'm talking about Richardson at Mississippi State.
Oh, really?
I was talking about Chow.
He's 6'2". He's 190 pounds. He ran a 4.340. He's incredibly.
Where's he at?
Might be gone.
He's going to be down a little bit farther.
There's another name that's very interesting right there.
Yeah, he's been in for a visit. I don't see him. Where's he at?
Does the mock draft database not have him on there?
Oh, I doubt it. He's probably gone.
Or he might have already been taken.
Oh, Richardson?
No. That's Texas A&M. This is Mississippi State.
Who is?
He might be already gone.
DK Marion Richardson.
He might be gone already.
He might be gone already, folks.
Really?
He might be gone already.
Legitimately, yeah. I don't think I will give the mock draft database gentleman a lot of credit. We've worked with him a little bit. We've talked
Mississippi
with him.
State, you said? Cameron Richardson? Yeah, he's listed. I started a new mock draft on my side monitor. He's listed as 157 prospects, so he is gone.
He's gone.
Okay.
So I would consider I was considering Kamal Hayden, who's a talented corner who's dealt with injury issues. I'm going to go with upside here. I'm going to take the tight end out of Iowa, Eric All.
Iowa tight ends, baby.
Tight end factory.
Yep.
But huge hands, athletic. Medicals have to check out, but
will immediately be invited to tight end because Kittle and Kelsey.
And his stats are not going to wow you because Iowa's offense couldn't beat a junior high team last year. So he's got
3 points was a lot.
Yeah. So, but Eric All's he's a solid tight end, probably, especially at this point in the draft.
He'll block.
Yeah.
Blake Bell, sorry, buddy. I love you. You're a Wichita kid. You went to Bishop Carroll High, Oklahoma. Yeah. We love you. I enjoyed the rings. I've known you a long time. I played sports against you, but not anymore. Anymore in Kansas City. If they take Eric. If they don't, and they don't take a tight end, see you in camp, Blake.
Yep. All right, with that being said, that does wrap up the 4th edition, the 4th annual Mock Draft Warfare. I will come through and recap everything real quick for us here. So in round 1, Tom selected, should we do round or first?
He got to the name and he went, wait a minute, can somebody else pronounce it?
well, that is the thing too. I mean, I did have to stop.
Should I do this, Garrett, with the pronunciation?
Well, I got it. I was curious if we wanted to go with how each of our drafts went, or should we go round by round?
Let's just
recap. Why don't we recap our own drafts?
Okay, recap our own drafts. Tom, you were the first pick, so you go first.
All right.
And but before we do the recap, I want to do this as an added piece to this because we've kind of done some talk about how we want to score this and count this and whatnot. So here's a out of nowhere idea that I've come up with basically while we were doing this. I'll run it by you guys here now, and if we go with it, we do. If we don't, we don't. We talked about the point system. Getting the player right is important. Getting the round right is bonus points. If you star your player and it's the player that hits, it's a bonus point. If you star your player and it's the player that hits and it's the round that hits, it's double the bonus. It's double the total points. So basically, if you hit the round and player with the player you've basically starred as your guy that the Chiefs are going to select from your grouping, you're pretty good chance you're winning the mock warfare.
Yeah. Fair? That's not a bad idea. That is a fair idea. Yeah.
Because I think with some of these drafts, there's going to be multiple of us maybe that have a guy that goes because of just the sheer volume of players selected.
Hopefully
by all of us.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's likely to be a tie of one of us each getting 2 people of the 4 of us potentially getting a player. I want to create multiple ways to kind of separate things to where it gives us a clear winner, so we don't have to play the tie. Because we're gonna try to turn this event that you guys are currently watching, hopefully at this point, now that we've told you, you should definitely watch this episode, into something bigger. We're going to try to incorporate other shows in the future version of this. We're going to try to incorporate this and make this a charity function for this podcast for us, because we want to give back to the communities and the people and everybody that supports us and watches us and does this stuff with us. So we're going to create this system as much as we can now while it's us, so that when we do expand this out, that there's kind of a thing. Is that way there's, because we've talked about, having an actual trophy for this or a belt of some variety. Belts are
belt
fun.
would be sick.
Belts are fun.
Need to get me some.
They're easy to send places too, because they fold pretty nicely.
Yeah.
So it's just something to keep in mind. So
Keep that in
that's
mind.
kind of why
Yep.
we're trying to do all of this out this way this time.
I agree.
Yes.
All right. Tom, and by the way, Kingsley Suamatia. I know how to say his name. Come on now. Kingsley Suamatia. Anyways.
Sumataya. Did you look at that?
Taya.
It's Tia, probably.
Not unless. Never mind.
Anyways, my first round
Gonna
pick was
talk about
offensive tackle Kingsley Sumataya out of BYU. Second round, I went ahead and played the game and took Tavondre Sweat, defensive tackle out of Texas, with the caveat that I don't think he should go in the second round. He should probably go on day 3. So why don't we just flip-flop him and my third round pick, Devontae Walker, wide receiver out of North Carolina. Then we get into round 4. I went ahead and grabbed an athletic linebacker in Kentucky's Trevin Wallace, and solidified the offensive line on the inside with Brandon Coleman, a guard out of TCU. And then to wrap it all up, I rolled the dice on an athletic but often injured tight end, and Iowa's Eric All.
All right. Yeah, for my draft here in round 1, we took defensive tackle Johnny Newton to pair with Chris Jones for the foreseeable future and wreak havoc. Round 2, you got offensive tackle Patrick Paul to be in there as a developmental potential high upside tackle for the future. Round 3, we had running back Marshawn Lloyd, just an absolute bruiser. You pair him with Pacheco for the next couple of years, and you're going to be having a great backfield. Round 4, we had wide receiver Jacob Cowing. Again, one another kind of developmental guy that can you can put there and develop as a really nice wide receiver option for you. Round 5, I had cornerback Jalen Simpson. Give him to Dave Merritt and let him do his thing. And to round it all up, we had Jalix Hunt, the edge rusher, to add more depth to that edge room. Kyle?
All right. So I had Darius Robinson in the first, the edge out of Mizzou, followed by Max Melton, the corner. I think Houston, right?
Rutgers.
Rutgers.
Oh, I was thinking Houston. Their logos are similar.
Similar logo for sure.
Rutgers. I made the Pacheco conversation earlier. Stupid.
That's all right. That's how that happens.
I have not done. I will be 100% transparent with y'all. You guys watched me fall back on the Notre Dame stuff later in this draft as you saw it go. I have not done near the work that these guys have on the draft this year. I'll be straight transparent with you. Life happens, and I just haven't been able to. So I apologize to y'all for the last couple of rounds, but I had to fall back on what I knew that fit, and that's what I did. So that said, I still did take Karan Ameji, which is just a very weird way to pronounce it compared to where the announcers pronounced it almost all of last season.
Yeah.
But he makes sense, so that makes sense. Fourth round was Audric. He bruiser. Like Garrett mentioned, Marshawn Lloyd, bruiser. Audric is a bruiser with vision. He reminds me of Lev Bell a little bit, is what I was going to say earlier. Le'Veon in his prime made people look stupid, but would also run guys over, but wasn't very fast. There's a lot of things that are similar there with Audric. Do I think he's going to be what Le'Veon was in Pittsburgh? Probably not, but a lot of fun.
Not what Le'Veon was in Kansas City.
Yeah, well, that's a separate conversation. Different character entirely, by the way, on that comp. They're not the same there. Round 5 was JB Bertrand, linebacker out of Notre Dame, and then Anthony Gold to round out the end, wide receiver out of Oregon State. It's just what they do. It's just like, I know people don't like it, but it just makes sense.
Yep. Randy?
Yeah, so I kind of got backed into a corner here, as Tom said.
Going last sucks, man. I know.
Going last in the first round, but I went best player available, and if there's anybody you kind of want to replace, replace what we lost in Mr. Snead, Nate Wiggins is a good way to do it. So picking up Nate Wiggins in the first from Clemson would be, I wouldn't hate it, but I don't see that happening. Came around the second round, took wide receiver, the forgotten man in Washington, who I think is still supremely talented and can do a lot of really good things, in Jalen McMillan.
That dude.
Came back in the third round and took Mr. Kansas State, the tight end, Ben Snott. Has really turned into one of my favorite players in this draft. With his personality, the way he goes about playing football, and his versatility, and especially since we do need to find the heir apparent to Mr. Kelsey when he does decide to hang up the cleats. So went with my favorite small school. Yeah, went with my favorite small school prospect in Mason McCormick, the offensive guard from South Dakota State, who was just an absolute dog as an interior offensive lineman. So.
Is that with an O or an AW in between the D and the G?
What's that?
Is that an O in between the D and the G, or an AW? I got to figure it out for that new
he's an
Twitter trend where you have to look between two keys on the keyboard.
He is an AW.
AWG. Dog.
AW. He's going to
put you the new Facebook Twitter trend. God.
Yeah. Mason, he'll put you in the dirt. He'll smile, help you up, and he's going to do it all over again. So, Finally found a tackle in a round that I was kind of happy with Javon Foster out of Missouri. He's a developmental guy, but this is the area where you take developmental guys. He's great at run blocking. He's also got that nasty in him. Needs to work on some footwork, some timing issues, but got a lot of potential to be a pretty good backup, if not even spot start if you need. And then rounded it off with the big bowling ball in the middle, Mr. Christian Boyd out of Northern Iowa, defensive tackle. So another one of my favorite small school guys.
Yeah. So that will wrap it up, the 4th annual mock warfare. Be sure to let us.
Are we going to star our guys or not?
Oh yeah. We should put So we'll go through. Each of us can choose one guy. We'll stamp as the guy.
Same as draft order.
Yep, Tom, you can go ahead and go first. Pick one guy.
You got all the advantages. You get the disadvantage this time.
That's tough.
Yeah, that's why I did this. Because, by the way, guys, I did this knowing full well I looked through my group and went, I hate what I'm about to have to do, but Jesus.
So I'm picking one guy that I think is
the guy and the round you took him in that you think will be, because that's the way you get the most points. Because like you said,
I'm locking in Kingsley.
You're getting double your points. So it's 1 point for getting the guy right. It's 3 points for getting the guy and the round right, and it's double for whichever one you get.
Yeah, give me Kingsley, round 1, easy enough. I think that's, like I said, that's the one that I think makes the most.
Yeah.
The most sense.
I think I'm gonna go a little outside the box here. I'm gonna go Jacob Cowing in round 4. Only because that feels like the most realistic pick per round that I have. Just because I think Patrick Paul will probably be gone by then. Marshawn Lloyd, who knows? And also Johnny Newton, once again, not sure if he'll still even be there at 32. So I think the safest pick would be Jacob Cowing in the 4th round.
And I'm assuming you think that's a double dip pick?
Yeah, I think that's probably fair. Probably a fair assumption.
I assume we're all operating on the impression that the Chiefs are addressing wide receiver in the first 2 days.
More than likely. Yeah, more than likely.
Yeah, I think that's a safe bet.
Okay. So that's going to make my statement very similar to Garrett's. I think it's a double dip pick. I also think he's probably the most realistic pick I have for them to take with the round and the player. Because I think he's either a 6th rounder or maybe a late 5th round pick. Based on where the wide receiver board in this mock went, he's definitely a 5th round pick. He probably could have gone in the pick I took the first time. There's a couple of guys there that might go ahead of that, but for what the Chiefs do fit wise, he's probably the closest. Give me Anthony Gold. at that 173, that second, 5th round pick. I like the rest of my draft. I just don't think they're going to get taken where I took them necessarily. So if I'm going for the max points, that's the one I'm starring.
Yep. Randy, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm kind of between 3 guys. I love Jalen McMillan. I just don't. No, I think 64 might be just a little on the rich side. I don't foresee us taking a tight end as early as the 3rd round. So I think my most realistic dude for where I have him drafted is Christian Boyd in the 5th round.
Okay. Yeah.
So solid.
I like that.
Solid choice.
That is solid. Yeah, that should about do it here. Be sure to let us know in the comments section whose draft is your favorite, whose draft you think is the most likely to actually hit. Kyle's 1 second. So
you can also let us know in the comments who's your one player that you think the Chiefs are going to draft and what round they're going to draft them in.
Yeah.
And if anybody gets it right, you win one of these.
You win. Ooh, all right. Yeah, you win a Corey.
So we'll put a post together.
Yeah,
I'll put a giveaway out. This is from our friend Corey, Artist Chief Corey 04, I believe, on Twitter.
Yes.
I should know that by now, memorized as much stuff as we've done with that man. He's one of the biggest supporters of this show.
Yes, that's true.
If you get your pick and the round correct, one of these.
Boom.
So pick
Boom.
round
To your
1,
house.
King Lucio Mattia. You'll get right.
Can you just send one of those
Facebook,
to me anyway?
Twitter,
Can I just get one?
Instagram. If you get your pick right with your star, the winner of this. Well, I've already got one of these, so I don't need it. But if one of you 3 wins, I'll give you one of these too. I have a few of them laying around.
Can I leave a separate comment and then put the actual winner, which is going to be Xavier Worthy in the 1st round? Can I do that?
On that note, it is time. Thank you again for listening to an episode of The Kingdom Says. I know we went long tonight, but we do it for the love of the game. We do it because we love
This is a special episode. This isn't a normal episode.
Yeah, the next time you hear from us, we'll have some new players in Kansas City dedicated to the red and gold. As always, no matter what you think of the picks, once they're locked in, we're rooting for them. So, appreciate you guys sticking with us this long. We apologize for Garrett's weird Xavier Worthy fetish.
Not weird. It's going to happen.
So
I will give you a bonus point if they actually take him.
All right. Let's go.
We have to chip in and get him a jersey if it happens. But
I mean,
if they draft him, we're getting him a jersey. That's
if they draft him, I'm getting all of us jerseys. What do you mean? We're all showing up to opening day wearing Xavier Worthy jerseys. What do you mean?
I don't think they make Xavier Worthy jerseys in my size. So
we'll get you
very large, small number.
I'm go to DHgate and make one of those. All right. So that being said, thank you all for tuning in and watching and following along. Be sure to follow us at Kingdom Says Pod on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Check us out on YouTube. Check us out on Apple Music and Spotify and wherever else you get your podcasts at. And we will see you guys after the draft on the next episode of The Kingdom Says.